everybody tries to push kids through this education program, and guys like you have this brain that's active and it goes, and it's they call it an ADHD brain. I'm the same, right? So like you're constantly looking to do new things. You're going to be bored sitting in a classroom with these weird lights in this like small box room. It's horrible, but some of the most successful entrepreneurs are people like you and I who didn't do well in school. So why am I saying that for the person who's watching on the other side of this camera?
I've always been very confident in what I do. I've always known or thought to myself, I am really good at what I do. I'm not good at anything else. And I have to say that I'm not a jack of all trades and a master of none. I kind of pride myself on not being that. Don't ask me to build your gorgeous house. Don't ask me to fix,
a shelf,
your Wi-Fi or something. I would not have it.
I can't.
Don't ask me about finance. Don't know the first thing about finance.
Well, we know that.
We know that. But
by 35, most people are dead. But your body gets buried at 75 or 85 years old at life expectancy, because they go through this mundane life, right? They get the jobs that maybe it's the union jobs or whatever it is, a job in corporate America that they didn't really love, but it pays the bills, and they just keep showing up. And I give those people credit, but they're looking forward to Thursday night football and Saturday college ball and Sunday NFL. That stuff's more important to them in their life than actually their career and chasing down other big goals. And it's because they hate what they do. And I'm the biggest encourager of...
Dude, we all have the best time ever to start a small business.
If I'm not going to be 100% in, I'm not going to do it.
Come on, man, just be yourself.
Yeah,
and just show up as yourself.
If you don't realize what I'm really about, I'm about freedom, family, and my country.
Dr. TJ Abrams, cheers. Welcome
Cheers
to the pits.
Thank you for having me, sir. Long overdue.
Long overdue. New owner of Essential Spine and Wellness.
Yeah. Right
here in Seagirt.
Right here in Seagirt, in your backyard.
Right in my backyard. You're not far at all. Nice and convenient for me and many others.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this one because for years I met you over at Thrive, and Thrive gave you a great opportunity.
Sure did.
To allow you to learn some things, but right from the get-go, we would have conversations sitting in the sauna. You're like, I just want to own my own business, right? And I'm sure AJ, who owns Thrive, he's an entrepreneur. I'm sure he would, understand that as well. And I just tell you all the time, hey, you got to just jump. There's never a perfect time, and you got to walk through the exercise, and you should go do it. You got a great personality. You got a high drive. You're never going to want to work for someone forever. And you went and did that this past year after being married. And you did tell me you're going to do it when you get married.
I did. I usually like to do what I say I'm going to do. That's a pet peeve of mine when people don't do that.
You did. So I'm glad to have you here, man. You're a good dude.
Thank you.
You run a good practice over there. And I know you're going to do big things.
Appreciate you.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Homedale, so right here in Monmouth County. I grew up in Homedale. Went to Homedale High School, played football, baseball, all that fun stuff. Yeah, that's that.
Athlete?
I wanted to play baseball in college.
You're going to get smoked. This wind is bad out here. A couple episodes ago, I was crying. You ever seen the Michael Jordan memes?
That was
it. It was like literally me the whole time. We should actually use that.
Plug it.
So, I apologize in advance. Maybe you need some goggles.
Okay, I've had worse. I've had worse things in my face.
Yeah, I hear you.
Don't plug that.
We're keeping it. So, athlete, were you always into the body? Were you always into fitness?
Always into working out. I wasn't good at many things other than sports and working out. I was never a really good student. I had no idea what I wanted to do in my life. I graduated high school with a very, very low GPA. I didn't really care about anything. And I ended up going to East Stroudsburg University in the Poconos for a very, very brief stint.
Play baseball or something?
I wanted to do that. I wanted to major in athletic training, which I did briefly. And then I was not ready to be away at college. And long story short, I ended up having to come home from East Stroudsburg.
What happened? What'd you do?
I didn't go to class. I think I passed 2 of like...
Now I'm getting smoked.
It's all right. Again, worst things you've had in your face.
True.
I think I passed like 2 out of the 5 or 6 classes that I had first semester, which was rough.
That's further than I got.
That is further than you got. Good job.
Junior year of high school, they booted me.
You were out. The same for me.
Actually, it was a mutual separation, to be honest.
They asked you, you asked them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was sort of like that.
So again, one thing led to another. I ended up coming home.
Were your parents pissed?
My parents were pissed.
Yeah.
Because my mom was a teacher. My mom was a middle school science teacher.
Oh, you don't misbehave in school when your mom
I
was
never
a teacher.
misbehaved. I really didn't. I really wasn't a bad kid. I had a little bit of fun, but I was like, even my teachers in high school, they were like, you know,
They loved you.
they're like, Tracy, listen, your son is great. He's a good kid. He just doesn't try. And I'm like, you're right. I don't. Like,
Because I hate this.
because I hate this. I'd never studied. I'd always say I'm forgetting stuff. I got diagnosed with ADHD, and I was like, I don't think I have ADHD. I just don't think I give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
And
You know what? I have to stay and stop you, though. We're not all made to go to school. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, everybody tries to push kids through this education program, and guys like you have this brain that's active, and it goes, and, you know, it's you know, they call it an ADHD brain. I'm the same, right? So, like, you're constantly looking to do new things. You're going to be bored sitting in a classroom with these weird lights and this, like, small box room. It's horrible, but some of the most successful entrepreneurs are people like you and I who didn't do well in school. So why am I saying that? For the person who's watching on the other side of this camera, if you're that person that's being told, hey, you're not really behaving in school, you're not trying in school, and you hate school, and you're getting yelled at home, and you're getting yelled at school, you know, don't think less of yourself. Like,
you'll probably figure it out.
You'll figure it out.
You'll literally probably figure it out. I mean, my path was so zigzaggy, like, it's unbelievable.
So what happened next? Like,
what happened next was, before I went to East Stroudsburg, right? So I graduate high school, whatever, in June, whatever it is. I go to college in August, September. In between those months, I got this is how much faith my mom had in me. And I love my mom because she pushed me to do this. She's like, why don't you go take a personal training certification class to get like something under your belt? And I was like, all right, cool. I'll
just get a win.
So literally all the summer of graduating, I graduated high school. That whole summer, I spent every Sunday at Mercer County Community College taking my first personal training certification class to learn a little bit about anatomy and learn a little bit about what the hell I wanted to do, because I always knew I liked sports, I liked working out. That was all I knew. Mm-hmm. That was all I had. So I did that. Again, left East Stroudsburg. I started doing personal training. I was a personal trainer. I worked at an awesome supplement shop. I worked at restaurants since I was 16 years old.
What supplement shop?
NutriShop. Shout out NutriShop. Yeah.
NutriShop.
I worked at NutriShop for like 3 years. I still, till this day, I still talk to 3 NutriShop people. Joey Zaccone, Nick Piera, and Christian Coronado. Who
That's awesome.
Literally all of them are good friends of mine. I still see them almost weekly. Super close.
You see Christian weekly? You go buy his meals?
I don't go buy his meals. You know why? Because I like to cook. I'm a little bit of a chef myself. You know, no big deal. But
Christian's a great guy.
He is a great guy, and
such a good dad.
Yep.
Hard worker.
Joe Zaccone is one of the best human beings I know. He's the football coach, varsity football coach at Point Beach High School. He actually...
I think he follows me on Instagram. I think we've interacted a little bit before.
He's the absolute man. Phenomenal human being. Believe it or not, and I'm going to shout him out right now, he's one of the biggest reasons that I am where I am today. In high school, I like to say I was pretty good at football, and he was my strength and conditioning coach. And he was a young guy, so he always resonated with us. And I wanted to quit football. And he was like, you are good. He's like, what are you doing? So I unfortunately quit my senior year. I didn't play my senior year.
What position did you play?
I was like a slot and a linebacker.
Slot?
Yeah, weird, right?
Yeah, that is weird.
I don't have a body type for a slot, but
are you fast?
I wasn't fast. I could catch things.
Mm-hmm.
And
you can catch things?
I catch things. And literally, talk about the smallest world. He worked at NutriShop, and I didn't even know it. And we show up one day at the brick NutriShop, and he's there. And I'm like, Z, what the hell are you doing here? It's like, I work here. And this was like recently. Like I kind of, not recently, but recently of me graduating high school, so we were still close. I've talked to this guy all the time. I still do. I volunteered myself for their strength and conditioning
I saw you
program.
running on the beach with all the
Yeah.
high school. And they won states last year, right? Point?
No.
The year before?
No, Point Beach. We're not the biggest team in the conference.
Point Borough did.
Point Borough was good, yeah.
Point Borough.
But
My mistake. Point Pleasant people would be mad at you.
But Joe Zaccone, also he pushed me in the weight room and also made me realize I was good at lifting weights. And whatever, I digress. Love him to death. I left East Stroudsburg, personal training, doing all that stuff. And I was taking BS classes at Brookdale. I took ceramics. That's my claim to fame, is that I took a ceramics class and now I'm a doctor. But I eventually ended up telling my parents one day, I think I want to be a doctor. And they were like, what? Like, maybe we should set the bar a little lower. Like, you know,
barely
whatever,
could pass ceramics.
Literally, yeah. So, I looked up every prerequisite that I needed for chiropractic school. I realized in like 43 of like the 50 states, you don't need a bachelor's degree, you need a doctorate degree. New Jersey's one of those states that I could practice in. So I took every prerequisite at Brookdale Community College. I ended up giving a shit. I made the dean's list at Brookdale, which again, nothing to write home to about, but it was an accomplishment for me. And I went to an interview at the University of Bridgeport School of Chiropractic. I sat with the dean, and the dean was like, okay, you know, yeah, we can accept you. You have all the prereqs. He's like, but just know, like everyone here is like pre-med or biology or exercise science. I was like, all right, whatever. Like if I get accepted, I'll figure it out. The next day, I'll never forget, I was golfing with my buddy who's my best man at my wedding. I was literally golfing with him. I was eating breakfast, and I get a phone call from the University of Bridgeport School of Chiropractic Medicine saying, hey, this is blah, blah, blah. We want to officially let you know that you've been accepted into the class of blah, blah, blah. Congratulations. I was like, holy shit, I'm going to be a doctor. So, went to the University of Bridgeport School
Sometimes
of
it's
Chiropractic.
always that unconventional
Dude,
path. And another thing you did, and it's similar to me, and maybe it's that ADHD brain, you said you made the dean's list. You made the dean's list because you got focused on the goal you wanted to achieve.
Correct.
You know, you don't want to do high school bullshit. I don't want to read world history where they're lying to me about what went on, 100 years ago. I don't really care. It's a lie. I didn't really care to do algebra. I still to this day don't think I use algebra for anything.
Yeah.
As soon as I got kicked out of high school, and then I meet this guy doing this boat racing stuff, and he's like, oh, you can come and finance. I'm like, wait, so I can roll over a couple $1 million without having a high school degree? He's like, yeah, as long as you pass this investment test, which is not easy. Sure as shit, I studied.
But you knew what you wanted to do, and you fucking studied.
Yeah, dude, as soon as you have that desire to want to do anything, you have there's a different motor in your brain.
Yeah.
And obviously that was something that happened to you.
Yeah. I also found out how my brain works, like how I study. I cannot read a piece of paper and then recite it back to you.
Your reading comprehension is not well.
I would have zero idea what I read. I have to literally talk it to you. I have to be like, Ryan, the latissimus dorsi connects to blah, blah, blah and does blah, blah, blah. And that's how I would study. I would like read it on the paper and then say it back to you and like teach it to you. And
You big podcast guy?
big podcast guy.
Yeah.
Big, 'cause
I don't read many books. I listen to them.
I know.
Listen
I
to
do
audiobooks,
yeah.
but
Yeah, I listen to a lot of like anatomy, medical podcasts and stuff, evidence-based podcasts and stuff like that, just to always keep my mind fresh, which I enjoy doing. I really like doing.
you like your craft.
I love my craft. Somebody asked me the other day, randomly, literally, they were over on like the physical therapy table and they were like, Doc, do you like your job? And I was like, out of fucking nowhere, I was like, yeah, why? She was like, that's good. I was like, okay. I was like, why are you asking? She goes, we were talking the other day and, blah, blah, blah. And, they saw a stat that 80% of people hate their career, but they do it because it pays the bills. And I say this all the time. I joke around, but like, I don't work a day in my life. Like legitimately, I go, even when I worked for somebody. It was
You like it?
I never was like, shit, I got to go to work. I was like, oh, all right, I got to go treat patients. Like, it's not work. I don't know.
Dude, a lot of my buddy Rob Bailey, and I've said this a couple times on the podcast, so sorry to the people who watch it every week, but thank you for watching every week. By 35, most people are dead.
Yeah.
but your body gets buried at 75 or 85 years old at life expectancy because they go through this mundane life, right? They get the jobs that maybe it's the union jobs or whatever it is, a job in corporate America that they didn't really love, but it pays the bills, and they just keep showing up. And I give those people credit, but they're looking forward to Thursday night football and Saturday college ball and Sunday NFL. That stuff's more important to them in their life than actually their career and chasing down other big goals. And it's because they hate what they do. And I'm the biggest encourager of, what does it hurt?
Yeah.
Quit your fucking job. Sell your house. I mean, you keep saying like, oh, this house is sick. I think you're just being overly nice, but like,
I'm not.
Like,
I want to live in your house.
I sold my house without knowing where I was going. So like,
That's
if
wild.
I didn't, why though? Why is it wild?
Just, I don't know.
If I sold my house and I had money in the bank, I could afford a hotel for my family to stay in, right?
Yeah. It's
I could afford an apartment. Like, my kids aren't going to live on the street. I'm not going to go without food. Right. It's no different with your employment. You can always go back to that company if you were a good employee.
Yeah.
So I love that you took the risk. So what happened in chiropractic school?
So chiropractic school, I did really well. I luckily surrounded myself with, again, one of my good friends, Dr. Mike Bruno, right here in Brielle, actually. He was my roommate for 3.5 years, 3 years, whatever it was. And that kid's an absolute genius, right? He studies, but he's a genius. And I surrounded myself with people that worked hard and studied, and I ended up graduating chiropractic school with like a 3.7 GPA, and I figured it out. I just figured it out.
Did you go to school with Vinny too?
Yeah, but Vinny was ahead of me.
He was older?
Oh, a year ahead of me, I think. Yeah. But
shout out to Vin.
shout out to Vin. Do you have a lighter?
I think I brought that other lighter out. I got it.
You got it?
Let's see how good you can catch.
Come on. No look. You see that?
Muscle memory.
And baseball.
So you did well in chiropractic school. Where was that located? Rhode Island?
Connecticut.
Connecticut? Did you stay up there?
Bridgeport, Connecticut, the land of dreams.
Yeah, there's nothing going on there.
Bad things going on there.
Did you stay up there?
Mm-hmm.
What's that, like a 2.5, 3 year program?
4-year program. 4 years. So you do your undergrad, and then, or whatever you want to do for undergrad. Let me hold this.
You can put it down. Does it give you a hard time?
Yeah. And
We're getting smoked out here, by the way,
it
too.
feels good. I like it actually. I'm getting fucked.
It hurts.
So, yeah, it was a 4-year program. I did semesters. I mean, everyone does semesters at Bridgeport, and I chose that so that I could come home and work at the restaurant, which I did pretty. I don't give myself.
What restaurant?
Catch 19, Red Bank, New Jersey.
You were still kind of working there when I met
did.
you.
I graduated chiropractic school. I fucking went right back and worked there on weekends.
Would you want to hang out with all the guineas?
No, I wanted to make money.
Red Bank's a cool spot.
Huh?
Red Bank's a cool spot.
Yeah, it was awesome. But yeah, I worked at Catch 19 on the weekends here and there. I'm not going to say I went back home every single weekend, but a lot of the weekends I would come home and I would text my manager and be like, hey, can I get a shift here and there? And I'd be able to pay, half my rent or whatever from that month.
See, that's that drive in you. Like I told you when I first met you, it's just like you either have that drive or you don't. Most people are like, oh, I'm at school, I can't work.
No.
I mean, I still work 14-hour days.
Yeah.
Listen,
I'm not saying I worked crazy amount. I'd say I probably went home one weekend a month and worked.
Still, you were doing some work to make yourself some money for
less student loans.
Food or paying. I don't know what you were doing. What were you doing?
Serving.
I'm saying, but what were you doing with your money? Were you paying it towards school? You?
No, it was all going towards I had to take loans out, obviously. But yeah, I paid my rent, paid my tuition for my school, and I also lived on a lot of the cash that I had from
food,
server,
whatever.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break and we'll get back. All right, jumping back in. Again, this is like the second podcast in a row where I'm like crying out here because of the smoke.
You look handsome.
That's obvious, right? So jumping back into the day in the life of TJ, and your life and your career. Come out of chiropractic school. Was Thrive your first job?
No, Thrive is not my first job. I worked for a company that was based out of Saddlebrook, New Jersey. It was an odd situation. Company tried to merge with a physical therapy company and whatever. Long story short, didn't work out. And I was looking for different jobs at the time. And I just so happened to text Vinny. And
Vinny Umbats.
Vinny Boombats. And I was like, hey, any chance Thrive was hiring? I was like, I kind of have a contract. I was about to sign a contract with another place. And again, one thing led to another. I ended up going with Thrive, working there for obviously, almost 3 years, 2.5 years.
Was it that long?
Yeah, it's pretty long.
You were in the Point Pleasant Vive
Yeah.
gym location.
Yep.
That was a small place, but you were cranking out some people through there.
Yeah, it was fine. It was never as busy as I think we wanted it to be, but one thing led to another. And I live around the area, obviously, so it didn't matter to me. I moved to the Belmar location, and I am forever grateful for Thrive. I mean, they literally...
That's a beautiful shop he has over
it's
there.
gorgeous. It's unbelievable. Even people still to this day talk about how nice it is, and it is. There's no
AJ's
denying
got
it.
an eye. I
does.
gotta give it to him. He's got an eye.
He's got good taste.
He does.
Which is why he hired me.
Yeah.
But
I think he fired you too. Didn't he fire you?
he did not fire me. I left on my own will. All good. All good.
I'm sure AJ's happy for you, dude. He's an entrepreneur, and like I said earlier.
There's no bad blood, if you ask me. There's no bad blood.
And they opened up a Freehold location. We'll give them a little shout out. They opened up a new shop
did.
out there,
They
and
did.
Vinny Boombats is running that.
Yep.
He's a great chiropractor.
I think they're doing great out there too.
And he's a great dude. Vinny's awesome. I love him.
Yeah.
So and that's what's nice about people who are happy to see others win. And I hope AJ is for you. And I have never, like in finance, why I actually don't groom a lot of younger advisors is because I know the good ones are going to leave.
Yeah.
And it is what it is in business. So you almost have to create a model where you have to hire shitty people.
Yeah.
And it sounds fucked up, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
Anybody who's quality, they're going to want to go pursue it themselves and go earn that profit margin as a business
Right.
owner.
But I always knew that, day one. And I was very upfront with anybody that ever hired me. Everyone's always like, what's your 5-year plan? My 5-year plan is to be a business owner. I didn't go to 8 years of school to, it sounds harsh, but I didn't go to 8 years of school to work for somebody else.
Yeah.
So it was always in the back of my mind, always.
You know what I liked about you? Even when you were cracking my neck, you would ask me these business questions, and you would ask me, how do I find more people to drive into Thrive at the time?
Yeah.
How do I do this? And you're always curious and always asking. And that reminded me of myself. Not that I'm 30 years older than you, but I've been in business since I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
So I've been at this for a long time. And I remember those, conversations with you. I'm like, this dude's going to be good. He's going to be good for Thrive. He's going to be good later on in life in his own business.
If I'm the smartest man in the room, I'm in the wrong room. Right?
Obviously.
I never...
You graduated as a doctor with ceramics degree.
I did. But yeah, man, I never will ever say that I know everything. I do not. I will never know everything. Even in my own craft, I'm always learning more stuff about medical devices, chiropractic techniques, sports therapy techniques. Always evolving, for sure.
Same thing in finance. I got on a phone call recently with this gentleman, Tomer, and he does something called premium finance. And you can essentially leverage 7-to-1 into this financial vehicle that we utilize often and spit out some ridiculous tax-free income. And it's incredible. And I think this year and nationally, I was number 10 or number 9, and he was 5.
Damn.
But he's number 5 and number 1 and number 5 and number 1 in 7 companies. So I'm not a guy to go to like things called like President's Club in my world or Chairman's Club. Like I'm not going to the French Riviera. It's not for me. I'm not going down and hobnobbing with all other advisors that want to like, get out the measuring sticks.
Yeah.
But I said, this guy's got something good going on. Let me reach out to him. And he knows something that I don't think I'll ever know as well as he does. He's been doing this his whole career, right? So I'm somebody who is always constantly trying to sharpen the tools in my shed to make sure I'm giving the best service to my clients. If you don't think that way, dude, you're moving backwards.
Yeah.
Because you never ever have it all figured out, either for your personal growth and obviously in business.
Yep. You gotta. If you're staying the same, you're staying stale. You gotta move.
So an opportunity comes across your desk.
My desk.
You've been at this for a while. You've been wanting to do your own thing.
Yeah.
You got married to your beautiful wife, Kelly.
Got married to my beautiful wife, Kelly.
Another great thing we have in common. Our wives' names are Kelly.
Kelly. I like it. You gotta get her a Kelly bag next.
That's a bag? It's a company?
Apparently. It's very expensive. I won't be
Really?
getting it, but yeah.
No, my wife's good with that.
Yeah, Kelly wants to go on vacations rather than get
Vacations,
nice
yeah,
bags.
same.
What did you just ask me?
See, that's your ADHD.
That's my ADHD. I'm staring at the fucking fire.
Opportunity came across your desk that...
Yes. So, an opportunity came that a doctor was retiring in the area. This was a while ago. I got approached twice by this same guy, and I kind of put it off at first because I didn't feel confident enough, and I just wasn't ready to make the leap, even though...
Stay on that for a second. And for the haters on YouTube, where I interrupt people, go fuck yourself.
Please interrupt me.
I like to make points for the viewers who are watching this show, who are looking to take nuggets away and become business owners. Okay? I'm not Joe Rogan yet. Talk about your lack of confidence. Like break that down a little bit.
Hell yeah. So, it's funny because all my friends think my best man in his wedding speech told me I have more confidence than a lion or whatever. I forget what he said, but I was like, what? I was like, I don't think I do. I was like, I think I'm just me. I don't know, normal.
You bring presence in a room.
I guess. I don't know, but I never thought of it that way. I still don't. It is what I don't know. But you, knowing you for so long, you've believed in me more than I've ever believed in myself. Literally. I've told you that. Literally, I've told you that. So
people did that for me though, and I was the same guy that was told I had presence in the room, and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Now I walk in like I'm a big fucking stick in this motherfucker. You better listen to me. TJ, I need an appointment now.
Right. Yeah.
I try to use the stick for good.
You do, and you do. I mean, when I tell you, like, I'm not bullshitting you. You have always, for 3 years that I've known you, you have believed in me more than I've ever believed in myself. And I have to be honest, I've always been very confident in what I do. I've always known or thought to myself, I am really good at what I do. I'm not good at anything else. And I have to say that I'm not a jack of all trades and a master of none. I kind of pride myself on not being that. Don't ask me to build your gorgeous house. Don't ask me to fix,
a shelf.
Your Wi-Fi or something. I would not have it.
I can't
Don't ask
either.
me about finance. Don't know the first thing about finance.
Well, we know that.
We know that. But if there's one thing I do know, it's how to help people get better. And I think I do.
And you
really
care.
Good. I care. I care too much. Like literally, that's almost a
I'm the
downfall.
same way. Yeah.
I was actually just texting one of my patients / friends now. I referred him out to me. I said, stop, I don't want to see you anymore. I was like, if I'm not helping you, I'm okay with that. I don't need you to keep coming here and paying me.
I want you to get better.
So I referred him to pain management, orthopedic surgeon, neurosurgeon, actually. And now I told him, I go.
He's all right? He's nothing like super
He's fine.
major?
Yeah, he's good. But, I said, text me the updates. Every time you go to a different doctor, every time you go to the doctor, like, let me know the updates. And I said to him, I was like, if you want to come back in, come back in. It's fine. But you need more help than I can give you. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not collecting his X amount of money per visit or whatever. Like,
I'm not crying about your story. It's just a smoke.
I thought you were crying about my story. Made me
No, it's
feel
not that deep for me. No, but I hear what you're saying, man.
But
I'm the
it's just,
same guy.
And you know what I think too is, not that I think, I believe, I know, if I do right by other people, they'll refer me people. They'll tell X, Y, and Z, be like, hey, you know.
100%. It's a long game, always.
Yeah.
Business is a long game.
Yep.
Like we said earlier, you know, you have clients that naturally carried over from Thrive.
Yep.
People fall in love with you. You're the relationship when they're coming in there and they're getting their back cracked. And same thing in finance. There was people that I was taking out to dinner, playing golf with. I hate golf now, but playing golf with or supporting their charities. And it wasn't like any type of like agenda, but I liked them.
Yeah.
I knew they were good people. They were around people I wanted to do business with. They were doing things that I like to do. Go to the mountains, ride quads, shoot guns. So like I try to just put myself around those people and always understand that if I add value to those people and I find the people that I like, they're going to, and maybe there's a tact to that, right? In all business, you have to have some type of...
Subconsciously, probably.
Yeah, but like I'm tactfully trying to be on the same vertical tree of business, thought process, and family, right?
Yeah.
So this whole thing's about country, family, and helping others get to financial freedom. And you naturally have that. That's why I knew you were going to be successful. I don't care if you sucked at being a chiropractor.
Yeah.
You could be a shitty chiropractor and have a good relationship personality, and you're going to thrive. No pun intended.
And it's, you know, I'm very grateful for what's happening. I'm very grateful for the people that taught me things.
How do you feel when you get up and you have a full schedule?
After I wake up early, I go work out before I go to work, and I come I come home from working out, and I'm like, even my wife Kelly, she's like, you are just not chill in the morning anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah.
You don't lay here with me.
I'm
ready
to go. I'm annoying her at fucking 6 o'clock in the morning,
Yep.
or 7 o'clock when I get home, whatever. And
You're loud.
yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm excited. It's an
Keep that excitement.
It's an undescribable feeling when I see, and I'm grateful that 6 months into my practice, I'm
Is it
booked.
6 months already?
6 months.
Congrats.
I'm booked. I'm full. Like I have a full schedule. And
No, cool. You can't even get in.
I'm like, holy shit. And I literally, I say to Kelly all the time, whenever I get home and like after seeing, 15, 16 patients a day, which for me, that's a lot. I'm like, I say all the time, I'm like, this is unbelievable. Like, I can't believe what's happening.
I got to go to my other Patriot Payments client now, Revive.
What are you
Joe
gonna
in
do?
Point.
What are you going to do?
He just opened up.
Good guy.
He's a
Good
big guy.
chiropractor.
He really cracks me good,
I know.
too.
I'm all right.
I got to get in there.
I can bench press.
You do a good job. You do that kick thing, though, with like the...
A little different technique.
Yeah, the kick.
I learned that from
That always kind of feels like a little like zing. It's like
Yeah.
it zings me.
Dr. Pete Ferraro. That was my first job in Saddlebrook. Dr. Pete Ferraro, who actually...
What was the name of that place?
Ferraro's...
Did they like scale up and have like 16 places at some point?
I think so. I never really...
I've heard that name before. I feel like I talked to
He
that
lives
guy.
around here, too. I was an associate. I didn't really know exactly what was going on. They tried to explain it to me like 20 times. And again, I don't know anything about other than the human body. Mm-hmm. I really don't, like I'm telling you. But he's the one that did a lot of the kick pull, it's called. But I saw him doing that and I was like, you know what, I should probably start doing
We got to
a little
start doing that thing where you like grab the people's heads with like the face straps and just
bit. Fucking
yank them.
The Y strap.
Yeah, I feel like I need that sometimes.
I won't do that.
No, it's dangerous.
It's just not.
It would get you views.
Don't get me views. I don't care about my views. It's not. I have different ways to do the same thing.
What's the most awkward situation you ever had as a chiropractor?
Ooh, that's a good question. Damn. Most awkward situation? Well, obviously, maybe not obviously. People farting as I'm adjusting them.
Really?
Oh my
Is
God.
that often? I have thought about that. I try to go to the bathroom before you
I
go
appreciate
to the chiropractor.
you. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah. Because I'd smoke your whole office out.
I believe it. You.
Especially if they're big butter steak or something.
Oh yeah, like you just fed Onar.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hungry, by the way. I could take one.
Dutch Hill
Thanks.
or Colonial. Both are great.
Dutch Hill Farms, fire, right down the street from my office.
He won't come on the podcast. He's scared.
Really?
The cameras might trigger him.
Okay. I'm just talking to you like I'm talking to you. I don't give a fuck.
They're not even there, right?
Yeah.
You're talking so well, I'm crying. This is the fucking second time in a row I got smoked out.
You want to switch seats?
No.
Okay.
You'll fuck up the camera view.
That's true. I guess I would say probably the most awkward thing was, I guess, people farting it on me. But it's kind of part of the job. It's part of the job. It is what it is. I mean,
is it like chicks, older dudes, older women? Like
honestly, a lot of women. I don't know why. I don't know what it is.
Maybe they're tense and then that releases for them.
I don't know. That'd be probably my most awkward. I would say my most fulfilling thing in my job is, and I always say this, is treating multiple generations of the same family. And this happened to me today, actually. I treated the grandpa and the son today.
That's cool.
And like the dad also brought the son in, and it's awesome. And it's not the first time I've done that.
What was the scariest moment where you like we're treating someone and
I can tell you that. I had the scariest moment. And this was early on in working actually at Thrive. I don't think I've ever actually told anybody this, but
I think I heard this story. The guy went like stiff or some shit?
No. Well, that's happened, but scariest moment of my career was I was less than a year out of school, and a new patient came in with low back pain, and she was telling me she's like, I have lung cancer. I said, what? I said, what do you mean you have lung cancer? Like, you are diagnosed? She goes, well, I'm not diagnosed with it yet. I'm going through, the process of being diagnosed. But she's like, I think I have lung cancer. And in the back of my head, right, first year out, I'm like, oh my God, I have to go through all these red flags. I'm like, do you have any weight loss? Do you have any night sweats? Like all this, I'm going through all my, medical brain. And I'm like, holy shit, like if I adjust this lady's low back, even though she has low back pain, like the lung cancer could have metastasized to her lumbar spine, which is very, very common for lung cancer. And thank God I remembered that. And I told the lady, I said, listen, I'm going to do what I can with you, but I'm not adjusting your low back. And I think I walked out and I was talking to Clint about it. And, when the patient left, I was like, Clint, dude, like, I was like, and I'm young, right? I'm less than a year into practice. And I'm like, I just treated a lady with lung cancer that I think metastasized to her low back. And that's why she has low back pain. And
you're going worst case scenario.
I'm going worst case scenario. And I'll never forget the few like days after that. I kept saying to our front desk girl, Nikki, absolutely love Nikki. I kept saying to her, I was like, we gotta call her. We gotta call her. Make sure she answers the phone. Like, make sure she's like,
make sure you didn't kill her.
Yeah, literally.
My buddy's out in Florida. He went to like a holistic guy. Like a lot of these camps now, they'll go out and they'll do the TRT and the peptides, and a lot of them have really good doctors. I mean, they give you a very, very detailed blood work that you don't get, in your physical checkup for the year. And I do that every 2 months actually. So I have night sweats, but I don't have cancer.
You have night sweats?
Sometimes. I just big engines run hot, dude. My wife gets close, the heat's on, I gotta crack a window.
Oh my God.
Maybe it's a TRT, who knows. But he goes to this guy for the first time. He used to do steroids when he was younger.
Yeah.
And he just felt like garbage forever. He went and got this stem cell stuff down in Mexico, went to Tijuana, spent like 20 grand, and got his blood work done like crazy, as you can imagine, as they're doing those types of things to you. He goes to this guy and he's like, dude, your blood work numbers for your pancreas is like so high, I'm almost positive you have pancreatic cancer or like gallbladder cancer.
He said that to you?
He said it to my buddy.
Yeah.
And this guy's, he's done some planning with me, so he's got like $3-4 million in life insurance with me. He funds pretty heavily. And he's like, I just wanted to talk to you about this, like. And I'm like, dude, like, do you know this guy? Like, is he a doctor?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, he is a doctor. Long story short, he has nothing.
Thank God.
And they did the whole pelvic scan and CT scan, and they did a bunch of other tests on him, and it was just inflamed from, the hard lifestyle recently or whatever it was. Yeah. Maybe the stem cells, I don't know. But it wasn't cancer. So as a doctor, I'm sure a lot of times you see something that was taught to you in school and it's like...
Sends off red flags.
Yeah.
That's actually believe it or not, a huge thing that I talk about all the time is like, people think chiropractic is, I understand, we have a stigma. I get it. For good reason. There's some weirdos in my profession. First of all, there's weirdos in every profession.
Every profession.
So it's not just chiropractic. I understand we have a stigma, but I knew that going into it. But, going through chiropractic school, and I talked to my buddy he's an anesthesiologist at Mount Sinai. Good. He's a groomsman, best friend since preschool. We talk medical stuff pretty much every time we see each other. And, when I talk to him about stuff, I'm like, oh, I know what you're talking about. And I'll say stuff, and he's like, oh, I know what you're talking about. So going through chiropractic school, you do learn, believe it or not, you learn every single thing about every single piece of the human body.
Before I met AJ, and I used to go to this guy, Matt Krieger. I think I've told you about him, Advantage Help up in Homedale. He was attached to in the Coles Plaza. He was attached to the Henzo Fight School.
Oh, yeah.
And Matt was always diagnosing people with other stuff.
Yeah.
He would send them for blood work, and
Yep.
they would come in with certain feelings and stuff, and he'd be like, "Hey, you sound like you have MS, or this or that." So you're obviously way more qualified than the average Joe. I think chiropractors got a bad name for years.
Yeah.
Because the typical healthcare system and the academias and scientists who push, what goes through the medical world is all based on money and back to pharma.
Yep.
And
Let's not even talk about health. Unless you want to talk about health insurance, I could talk about health insurance.
yeah, everybody knows health insurance sucks,
Yeah.
and it's almost like they wanted to put the chiropractors out of business. They really squeezed them, especially the last 5 years. They really squeezed you guys,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, that's not essential health."
Yeah.
No pun intended,
No
but
pun
it
intended.
is.
Yeah. It's unbelievable what's happening in the insurance world.
When I'm tight, dude, and I don't, get a crack in a while, I'm miserable.
Pain is a debilitating thing, and if you can treat that without having opioids or whatever it may be, obviously do it. But it's not. I say obviously, it's not obvious.
Even the acupuncture, I
got acupuncture today.
Yeah.
I had a migraine this morning when I woke up. I lost my vision. I had my migraine with Aura. I knew exactly what was happening. I was dreading it because I was like, I have a podcast tonight. I was like, I got to get this out. I got acupuncture this morning at my office. Again, I'm lucky that I have acupuncture in my office.
We didn't talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah, we have two separate businesses, obviously, but it doesn't matter. Once again, it doesn't fucking matter to me. If I think somebody can benefit from physical therapy or acupuncture, which I get no benefit from financially, I don't care. I will send you to physical therapy. I'll send you to acupuncture.
Well, that's your job, especially as a doctor.
Right.
You want to get the person
do no
better.
harm is my number one job. That's that's my number one job is do no harm.
Yep.
Do right by the patient, and that's that. I mean, that's literally that.
So as a young chiropractor starting out,
Yeah.
how are you marketing yourself?
I'm doing a lot of social media stuff. I've always actually done, not always, I shouldn't say always. In chiropractic school, my last year of chiropractic school, my last 2 semesters, I'm remembering back into my clinic that I was starting, I recorded on my iPhone, and I started doing videos of myself doing stuff in my clinic, and being overseen by. That's kind of like our residency.
You just got ash to the forehead.
Yeah, I got ash to the forehead. You saw that? It hurt. But my last year, I was in our clinic rotations, and I started doing very awful videos on Instagram, and I didn't care. I think one of my videos for Instagram, one of my first videos was like, "Hey, I suck at this. I'm going to keep doing it until I'm good at it." And now
That's a great metaphor for anything.
Yeah, literally. I mean, I run. I sucked at running. I was never a runner. And now I'm okay at running. I'm not going to say I'm good at running, but I'm decent at running because I sucked at it.
Just got to keep showing up.
Yeah. But that's kind of the marketing I'm doing a lot, social media marketing a lot.
Are you running any ads on social or anything?
I haven't.
Like that?
I've been so fortunate that my business has grown light years ahead of where I thought I would be right now. That honestly, I'd say 99.5% has been completely organic. Actually, almost pretty much 100% of it has been organic. I mean, I never...
Well, social media is good for that.
Yeah.
Because you have friends on your social media page that go to a chiropractor, they like you, they trust you.
And it means the fucking world to me. Like,
Because you care.
When people repost or, they repost my social media, even if it doesn't, like, even when I post shit, like, I know people click right through that. It doesn't matter. As long as somebody's eyes are looking at that and just so happens to click through it, they looked at Essential Spine and Wellness's Instagram and passed through it. Click through it. I don't care. I understand.
It's changed my life, changed my family life, social media. It's a powerful tool.
It's unbelievable. It really is.
There's a lot of negatives to it as well.
Yep. And my wife, all credit. Honestly, I'm going to say this to my wife, Kelly, my beautiful wife, Kelly. All of my credit for pretty much where my business is from Kelly. I mean, she's
your backbone.
Dude. I joke around with her. I'm like, you're my CCO, my Chief Creative Officer. Mm-hmm. And she creates little Instagram posts. She creates events for my company. She's unbelievable. And she's working 2 jobs right now.
Yeah.
Literally,
Girls are
she's
so
working
much
2
more
jobs.
organized.
What's that?
There's so much more organized women.
They are.
Yeah, they're just like, something like a guy like you and I, like we're all over the map. Like we can't, function that way. I delegate a lot.
Even my front desk girl now, she's like, you're clean, but you are very unorganized. Like even my desk, I have bills, I have papers, I have stuff everywhere. I'm like, I know where it all is. It's controlled chaos, but to everybody else, it looks like just mayhem. But in my own head, I know where it is. But yeah, thank God for my wife.
Well, listen, dude, you're killing it. I want to ask you 2 questions before we end this.
Ask me 2 questions.
First question. Obviously, you talked about going through your confidence issues and not taking the leap of faith sooner.
Yep.
So we talked a little bit about that. But what's the one thing you would tell a young entrepreneur, if you could? One thing.
Be genuine. Or hopefully you shouldn't have to be genuine. Just
be authentic.
Be yourself, and you kind of know if you have it or not.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I have it. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying I felt confident enough to say I'll figure it the fuck out.
Yep.
And
put your back against the wall.
And you got it right. Literally what we were just saying in there, like put your back against the wall and figure it out. And I'm still figuring it out.
Now you gave some love to some previous employers.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Your coach.
Yep.
Obviously your wife Kelly. If you want to give a shout out to someone else, who would you want to give some love to for your success?
My dad, probably. My dad, he was a chiropractor. He still is a chiropractor. But my father never once, which is, I say this story all the time, my father never once said, hey, why don't you take over my practice? Mm-hmm. Or not even that, like, hey, why don't you become a chiropractor? He never pushed me ever to become a chiropractor. Meanwhile, he was a chiropractor.
He wanted you to find your way.
And he still does. He does not help me I shouldn't say unfortunately. Fortunately, he doesn't help me with anything that how do I put this?
There's things he wants you to figure out.
My father does not hand me anything when he could. My father could hand me the world if he wanted to. He was a very, very, very successful chiropractor on Staten Island. He built his practice through the Mercedes 80s, they call it. They could have paid for my whole chiropractic education. I'm sure he could have. He probably could have gave me money for, my business. But I'm grateful that he's never handed me anything. And I thought that sounds so fucking cliche, but it's the truth. He's never...
He's guided you in other ways through leadership just by action of himself.
Yes, and he still tries to. I'm an out-of-network provider. He gave me so much shit for that, and he still does. Mm-hmm. He's like, what do you mean you're out-of-network? People pay hundreds of dollars a month for their insurance. They want to use it.
It's a different volume game.
I say, Dad, they don't give the care that I give, and I can't do that and get X amount of money per
He had a different model.
Totally different model. And
so shout out to Dad.
Shout out to Dad. That's right. Well, and if I have a good day, if I do my my daily settlement at the end of the day, and I see, you know, what we brought in. My first call usually in my truck home is my dad.
Yeah.
And I don't brag to people. I don't like obviously say that out loud to anybody else, but I'm like, Dad, I just did X amount.
It's okay to be proud and give some self-promotion.
I'm proud, but I'm
Thankful.
I am so thankful. I am so grateful for, honestly, you know, I'm going to do it. Another shout out is Thrive. Mm-hmm. Another shout out is AJ from Thrive, and
he's got a different brain, man. He thinks definitely on the other side.
But he's helped me more than he knows.
Yeah.
Like he's and I will forever be grateful for him, and I absolutely do not have any sort of bad blood whatsoever.
I'm grateful for AJ.
But,
he got me thinking along the lines of the internet. I was already kind of looking at social media, and then I saw what he was doing with his online acupuncture business, and he's a smart guy. He definitely thinks differently than most people, and I think that's what it takes to be successful. You got to be different, especially when there's a lot of people doing, you know, what you do.
Yeah, and it's hard to be different in my field, and I'm not going to say I'm a unicorn in my field, but I try my hardest to be me. That sounds so cliche. It sounds so stupid, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you ride Harleys and you drive a pickup truck and enjoy some bourbons and smoke cigars, and you're a regular dude.
Snowboard, you know, it's Whenever I pull up to the office on my Harley, people are like, "You're a doctor and you ride a motorcycle?"
Isn't it funny they think so differently about you?
Yeah. Like, I'm a cool doctor, you know.
Well, dude, this has been fun. I've been getting smoked out this whole time, but
you've been pushing through.
This conversation has been good. I appreciate you. I know you're going to be very successful, and I look forward to all your successes in the future with you and Kelly.
I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to it. Cheers to you. Thank you for having me, as always.